I just saw that video of Ashton Kutcher talking about, like, I don't need to hire a crew anymore. I could just prompt AI to do this. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that are going to be lost.
Yeah, I guess I just don't. I guess I just struggle to have any sympathy because I feel like that's the way it's been for so long.
He says that now, and then an AI is going to be fucking his wife in 2 years. I'm just kidding.
Well, talk about a great cold open.
We've seen things that no one has seen before.
We've seen things out there.
We've seen things that most people could never understand.
And we've seen things too.
You don't know, man. You weren't there.
You'd be surprised the likes of which we have seen. Don't be so quick to say everything's the likes of which we haven't seen. We've seen things the likes of which you probably haven't seen yourself.
Is that a challenge?
Hey, how you doing? I'm Matt, and I'm here with Zach and Steve. We're three unique filmmakers who co-founded the Breakneck Film Race. It's a quarterly film race encouraging like-minded folks to experiment and hone your craft by producing a short film within the span of a week. But in addition to that, we started a podcast called We've Seen Things, where we talk about movies we've seen, and then some. Zach, say hello.
Hello.
Steve, welcome to the show. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay. We got a really awesome show today.
Steve had like a cool. I sounded like a bitch when I said hello, and Steve is like this guy, this deep, like scared, like man voice. Hello, and I'm like, hi guys.
This is how we create dynamic.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But I don't. Why do I always have to be the bitch? Sorry. I'm sorry.
And
man,
on that note, this is a very special episode today. Zach, you picked a movie, and you want to tell us what that movie is?
Yeah, so I chose Mad Max Fury Road.
In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead.
Directed by George Miller, and it came out in 2015, and I could not believe that Matt had never seen it before, because it's like, I mean, probably one of the greatest movies to come out in the last 15 years, I'd say. It's so funny because I was a fan of like the earlier Mad Max films. And then when the new Mad Max came out, I thought, even back in 2015, I was like, oh, this is them just recycling shit again. I went in with no expectations, and then it fucking blew my face off, like how fucking amazing it was. And I guess I was talking to you, Matt, about it, and you'd mentioned that you've never seen Fury Road, and I'm just like, how the fuck have you never seen Fury Road? And yeah, now we're here. Now you've seen Fury Road, so...
And I'll tell you what, it's been a religious experience. And I do not say that hyperbolically. That actually was okay. So from the moment, let's wind it back a little bit. In 2014, that's when I think the first trailer came out for Mad Max Fury Road, somewhere around then, because it dropped in 2015. I see that trailer, and if any self-respecting cinephile sees that trailer, they say they gotta see it, and they gotta see it in theaters. And that was my goal. But I was like, it's the fourth movie. I wanted to see the other three that led up to it. I know that it is something that doesn't really rely a lot on the continuity of canon, perhaps. You know, even George Miller himself has admitted that they're all pretty much standalone individual films, maybe except for Furiosa. But I still wanted to see them. I wanted to appreciate the growth of the franchise. And I saw Mad Max 1 and 2. And then I didn't get around to seeing Beyond Thunderdome, and then it left theaters. And then I was a little bummed, but then I realized I live in Los Angeles. We have a lot of iconic movie theaters. They'll play Mad Max Fury Road again. And then it just kind of fell in the back of the radar, but I always was like actively avoiding any and all spoilers. And so over the course of 10 years, I had a job working in a post house. I made a feature film with the help of friends such as yourselves. I had my appendix removed and lived out of Airbnbs for 2 weeks. I moved out of LA. I returned to LA. I met a girl, sunk a whole lot of money into a short, went broke, which prompted depression, and then dug myself out of it. Sunk half a year into pre-production for a short that went nowhere, prompted a depression, broke out of that one eventually. The pandemic hit. That was the one that hit hard because then I was like, oh, the world's over. I missed my chance. Now I'm living Mad Max. What else happened between then and now? The Capitol was stormed. I proposed to that girlfriend, and
She said no. Oh, she said yes. My bad.
she did say yes. Yeah, and so even when the theaters came back on and it kept coming and going, it kept putting it off. I'm a self-sabotaging son of a bitch sometimes. And then Furiosa came out, and that's when my heart sank again. I was like, I missed it. I know Furiosa survives now at the end of Mad Max Fury Road. And then I'm like I ruined that much for myself.
Well,
That's on
but
me.
it
Hold on, I'm getting to it. And then I realized if Fury Road doesn't play in theaters before I see Furiosa, now I'm going to have a duology that I'm never going to see. However, I learned that Furiosa is a prequel. And then I decided, well, this sounds like a perfect opportunity. I could see Furiosa before I saw Fury Road. And then I found a screening of it in 3D, and I took my good buddy Steve with me to go see that. And I mean, it was just slamtastic.
of Fury Road.
Of Fury Road. I did see Furiosa about 2 weeks prior to that. And it was, overall, I think it's like a good precursor to Fury Road. Like, if I was a newcomer to this series, maybe scrap the other 3 films, but like watch Furiosa before Fury Road. That's my stance.
Road Warrior is amazing.
Yeah, sure. But
Wait, so you saw it in 3D?
it was the only screening they had there, and the only other place that was playing it according to Fandango was up in San Francisco, and it wasn't even like in a proper theater. So I was like, am I willing to drive 6 hours for this? And considering it's like a road trip type movie,
yeah, you should have.
I thought about it.
In your Prius.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, though, I'd blast that soundtrack going back the whole entire time. That soundtrack was phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good.
But that was my long journey getting up to that. We could stop down real fast.
That's funny that you watched the 3D version, because I've seen the movie like 1,000 fucking times, but there's a black and chrome version of it.
I've heard of it.
And I watched the black and chrome version instead of the normal version just to kind of differentiate a little bit.
What did you think of it?
The movie's fucking incredible. The chrome version, I kind of took some notes. So like the kind of like the jittery frame rate in the beginning especially, and the lighting and just all this shit, it kind of reminded me of like a classic 1920s, 30s film, like almost like a silent film, but obviously with sound, but like that, but on PCP. like a 20s, 30s silent film on PCP. With like a fucking meth head at the subway just talking to you and screaming and talking and there's a radio in the background blasting music, and it's just fucking overwhelming in the best way possible.
Oh my god.
But I wonder, I feel like, I don't know, man, I feel like the 3D version might take away from like the story is very obviously like, I mean, the story without dialogue, it like ebbs and flows, and in like, I wonder if the 3D kind of takes away a bit of like connecting dramatically with the characters and with the story.
I think it always does. I wanted to see this in 3D. That's why I wasn't gonna protest or complain because I've already seen it a bunch of times. But I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 movies in the theater with 3D, and it always seems like it's not worth it. Like it always seems like just so that there's a couple of scenes where it's like, oh, you know, like
it doesn't enhance the experience. It just kind of feel like takes away.
Yeah, there's a couple of moments where you're like, oh, that's cool in like a Universal, you know, park, you know, ride sense. It's like, oh, that's cool. But what it takes away dramatically is not worth those like few moments of like, oh, I almost got hit by something.
Yeah.
Because even those moments, I think, requires a little bit of like your like imagination, like, you know, like. It's not that immersive, right? I think you need to like put a little bit of imagination into it and your own groundwork to make it feel like it's immersive, and what it takes away from the story dramatically and everything. I particularly with this, I thought there was a few scenes where I thought the 3D was actually like drawing your attention to the front of a truck instead of the subject inside of the truck.
Interesting.
Like, this truck is coming at you, but there's like you know, I had to actually like, you know, there's an actor in that truck that's putting on a performance, and I'm not, you know, as engaged with it because it's like, wow, like the war rig is coming at me, you know? So I left the theater thinking like, you know, reconfirming my belief that it's like the 3D isn't, it was a cool experience. I'm glad I got to see Mad Max in 3D. It's still a fantastic film, but yeah, I definitely left thinking like, like it's a gimmick. It's
gimmicky.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's not worth the, you know, it's not worth the struggle. It's not worth the like sort of. There was a bunch of scenes where I was seeing double because of, you know, like I had to like adjust my eyes. What were we, like 5 rows back or something? Like I thought that would have been cool. But then when I went to go get water and I came back, like walking from the back of the theater, I saw like, oh, it pops out more smoothly, and longer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We do like it when it's smoother and longer. Yeah, I'm the same
usually,
way.
Yeah, I like it smooth and warm.
Yeah, and longer. Yeah.
No.
Long.
It's my preferred. That's what I prefer. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, that's a fair preference.
Glad that you still had a somewhat, as you said, a religious experience with the movie, because I really do think it can provide that if you really let yourself connect to the characters and like not get overwhelmed. I mean, I don't know how you say this, like, because you can be totally overwhelmed by the visuals and the action and the violence and the fucking like set pieces, but it works so well in my mind because like the way that connects to you with the characters, it's like almost like these like set pieces and these actions are like characters themselves in a weird way. Not characters themselves, but like the war rig is like a character itself, and like you feel connected to it. And I don't know, it's just such a unique film because it like the action and everything works so well with the story development, where it doesn't rely on like in a lot of action movies, the action isn't really always driving. I mean, it drives the plot forward, but it's not like it doesn't help you connect with these characters. But for some reason, this action like helps you connect with these characters and these crazy stunts and these crazy things they're doing.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they went with the storyboard approach instead of and Steve, I'm sure, can clarify on this more since he's listening to the audiobook of the making of it. But I believe they decided to forego script writing entirely, just do storyboards and then edit those storyboards so that they have a good idea of like the pacing and the rhythm. And the studio execs didn't understand the entire process until it came back to them.
Apparently not a lot of people did. Even Tom Hardy was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this movie. Like, I don't like, and apparently he like really was like hard to work with on set. He's like, this movie's gonna blow. And then after he watched the cut, he's like, oh my God, I was so fucking wrong. This movie's amazing. But yeah, I've read the screenplay. It's so fucking cool, man. It's just like storyboards and like a little bit of dialogue and a little bit of voiceover and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it's such a unique thing. And it just worked so well.
Totally does. I have to say, it wasn't even, I mean, to be fair, I can attest to the sensory overload thing. However, like for what little I knew, I didn't want to know going into it. Like I knew it was going to be intense the entire time. And I think with that expectation, like it just didn't feel like I was watching a movie. It felt like I was sitting alongside like as if I was riding in an RV. And it was a big ass window my face was up against, and just watching chaos ensue outside. Like it was from the moment that first tripwire comes up during the chase sequence, that was like the first jaw drop, and in the first act, and then from there it just like the stakes get higher, things fucking escalate. Next thing you know, you're in the fucking eye of a sandstorm as everything is going insane.
A haboob, I think it's called.
Oh, what's it called?
It's called a haboob.
The haboob.
No, a haboob. That's what like a big storm in the desert is called, a haboob.
Oh, gotcha. A haboob. Well, it was insane, and to think that they like were able to diffuse the tension of it, and just by like keeping the flare from blowing up the car, and then just kind of fading out on that. Like that was exactly what I needed for my heart, so that it didn't explode out of my fucking chest. Yeah, I know. And then like it knew when to take its time developing character, because shortly after that is when you first see Max and Furiosa kind of like, starting with a confrontation and then in time learning more about each other.
A fucking great confrontation.
It was amazing.
Them beating the shit out of each other. She's fucking hitting him with the wrench. He's holding the door.
Oh yeah.
Nux or whatever the war boy is like coming to, and he gets the hose and he gets the gun. Oh my God, so good.
Gosh, that was fun. Steve, what do you got to contribute here?
The script, the storyboard. One thing I thought, interesting to learn about is actually it sounds like it's not just Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's just probably a prick. It seems
great actor though.
Probably a real prick in real life though. I don't know. It seems that way. I'm sure George Miller isn't the only one he gives a hard time to, but from what I gather, it sounds like everyone has a hard time understanding George Miller. He goes off on tangents. His mind is like racing like crazy. And you'd ask him a question and he'd give you like a long-winded answer that doesn't really seem like it answers the question. Like, so I found that interesting because I think, the job of a director, and obviously George Miller is a very good director, is to communicate, clearly what your vision is. And I thought it was interesting to hear that he's actually so all over the place that it's like people end up not really it seems like everyone had at some point maybe like just not seeing what he's seeing, because he's seeing this thing in his head. And I think I know I can relate to that, but it's hard to just like here, this is what I'm seeing. Like, you want to be able to like show people, and he's trying to explain this giant vision. It was actually, Tom Hardy was just like particularly a shithead about it. But then even as they were filming, they were filming all this stuff, MOS, there's no, so as they were putting it together, studios and people were watching it, just like, what the fuck is
watching
this?
the dailies are like, what the fuck am I?
Yeah, what's like? There's no story, right? Like you and there's all this piecemeal of like, because they got what did they spend 9 months or something like that? Yeah, 9 months in this desert, and they were piecing together, and it would be sometimes like days or like like a whole day. They said or days to get like a 5-second clip of like Charlize Theron like coming out of a war rig, or just a 5-second clip of something.
Oh wow.
So like studios would come and just see like this in his head. It seemed like a mess, like, so the dailies and the putting it together, it seemed like a mess. It was a lot of faith in George Miller, but also that it took him over 15 years to get this thing done. So obviously it was a struggle for him, but yeah, the communication on set was something that was interesting to me. And something that I think about while watching, particularly the actors, I think like the performances are so peculiar to me, and especially like the wives, the way that they're inexperienced actors, most of them, like they act so like in their own element, and like so
I love it. I fucking love it. I love that it's so soaked in lore. Like the characters themselves, like the way they speak, it's all like lore about the world they live in and the story that they're in, and like like I forget her name, like the like platinum blonde wife or whatever. The way she like whisper talks when she hears something in the background or something like that. I mean, I just love it. And then also the bullet farmer. After he gets his eyes blown out and he fucking covers his eyes and he has the 2 like Uzis and he's like, I am the whatever of justice. Just like these characters are like, it's like a fucking, it's like a Shakespeare play, but with fucking acid and gasoline and fire and you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
The war rig, because just before I forget, you mentioned like it's its own character, and that definitely was intentional. All of this, most of the sound effects, whatever the sound effects for the war rig is layered with whale sounds, and when
the horn is so sick.
Yeah, and when it spoiler. I guess there's got to be lots of spoilers in this, right? But in that final crash with the war rig where Nux blocks the path, it's all just war sound. It's supposed to sound like an animal, like, and it's fine, like rah! Like it's supposed to be like its own character. Yeah.
Oh my!
I'm sure that shot was like the big fucking orgasm shot of this 3D, because all the shit flies right at the camera.
Oh, it does.
Like the guitar and the steering wheel. And
It was in that moment I was like, maybe he, knew 3D was a thing, and so he wanted to kind of have fun with it there.
That's the only shot I could think of that they made for 3D, to be honest. There might be one more or two.
Yeah, 3D was a thing while they were filming it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think from 2009 to like 2016, it was the rage.
Films almost became like bait for movies to be like, oh, we got to get a 3D shot. It almost like kind of like it was obviously a bad thing, because a lot of films were then converted to 3D that weren't shot in 3D, and it made them look like shit, and like it was a really shitty trend for a while. Even though like it's so funny because like this trend was like, that's something that kills movies, but it didn't. Movies were doing so well then. Now there's whatever killing movies. I don't know what it is, but it's funny. Like I feel like movies are going into a pretty good place now, but they're like no one's seeing them anymore. So it's just it's funny.
The action in it, because like I'm not in the it's interesting. This was part of the book. I think Tom Hardy said it. about how he just gets lost in the action of like a Marvel movie, and that's how I feel. Like I think the action in a Marvel movie is terribly boring. I think
absolutely.
I think
the
it's
same way.
boring. I think there's no stakes because I know how this is going to end. There's no like and people don't get hurt. That was the text that I sent you guys. That like people don't get hurt in a Batman or a Superman movie, and in a Mad Max movie, it's like the violent, it counted. You could feel like it felt like you're there. It felt like each thing counted. It wasn't just a mess of pixels going like robots going,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not bullet sponges either. Like people get fucking killed, people get stabbed, people get hurt.
Yeah. And just like the visual fucking ballet of like the choreography of it, like each shot counts, the way like the camera moves towards like the subject and the motion that you're supposed to see, and I never feel lost in the action. I'm always following the characters and following like the emotional moment or beat that we're in, no matter how intense and crazy the action gets. I mean, I think it's one of the greatest films. I think
I'd say it's for sure it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. I do think it's obviously like the early ones laid the groundwork and created, nuance and kind of created like a new vision of like what post-apocalyptic is, right? But this movie, I think this is where he took it and made like an absolute masterpiece, like you said, Shakespeare or a ballet.
We've lived many lives, you and I. We've seen things that most people could never understand.
I really appreciate that. So, like, Matt, you kind of talked about that they're not canon in the beginning, like but they kind of are. So
they are.
Well, so the whole thing with Mad Max, I think, at least in the beginning, and especially with Furiosa. I mean, you haven't seen. Well, I won't talk about Furiosa because you haven't seen it yet. But so Mad Max is always like folk tales. It's like people around a campfire talking about this time this guy Max came into our town and saved us or whatever, blah 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 blah. So that's kind of always. So I think it is lore. It's all canon. It's all because they were just people kind of telling about Mad Max in the past. But this one was actually the first person take on Mad Max in kind of a weird way. I feel like because all the other ones are kind of like telling stories about him, I feel like, and this one was like we're actually seeing his world after everything he's experienced, after all these things that he's done in his past, hence why all of his like those violent flashbacks in the beginning, and he keeps seeing that girl and keeps seeing those people. So I do consider them all to be canon in that way, even though like he reuses characters in movies, like so for example the toe cutter in the first movie, the main antagonist, is Immortan Joe. It's the same actor that plays Immortan Joe.
Oh, cool. But wait, Toe Cutter dies in the first one, right?
Right, yeah, but it's the same actor that plays him, So it's, I don't know, cool. It's just cool. Like it's like canon, not canon. Like I don't know. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into my history because I already decided I'm gonna admit this on the live here on the podcast because this is something I hope that you could judge me for, but I see it a lot with other people, and I hope
you voted for Trump. Sorry.
And I hope MAGA baby, and I hope you learn from my mistakes, because sometimes you don't like a movie because of a stupid rule you have in your head that's not real, and it doesn't like when I was trying to talk to Matt about I'm thinking of ending things. It was like one of my favorite movies that year, and he was like, I thought it was going to be a time traveling movie, so I hated it. Or so remember, I know I probably, but like you were like, because the trailer made me think it was going to be this, I just spent the whole time like, disappointed. And I had a dumb reaction like that to Mad Max Fury Road. I saw it in the theater and I knew it was wrong because the movie ended and there was an applause and an energy like I'd never seen before or after in a movie. So I knew like, oh, I missed something right out of the gate. But yeah, it was almost like out of nowhere, this energy came up and it was like, yeah, like, men and women, everybody. I guess I thought that, and I've seen other people say this, that I got distracted by how not about Mad Max it is. I got distracted by how not from the point of view of Max it is. I think I got like sideswiped by how much it's like Charlize Theron and her story and everything. And I don't, and then I saw, I don't know why, like it distracted. It was almost like, what is this? They ruined Mad Max. And it's such a stupid thing because why does it matter who the main character? Like that's a rule that's in my head that's not real, you know. And then I see it the second time, and I'm like, this is an absolute masterpiece. Like why, you know? Come to find, I'm not the only one that thought that. There were other people that like complained about it, but I think I could say I'm fully recovered. Like, stop coming up with dumb rules when you watch movies. Say I don't like it because it's supposed to be about this or whatever. Because I prevented myself from enjoying what obviously is one of the greatest films, and now I'm watching it thinking like I still see like what I mean back then in some ways. I still see like. You know, these are stories of a legend, and it's like, is he really that much of a legend in this movie? Like, you know, when he's a hero, a lot of times he walks away. Like the one time he like walks away and then comes back, and we just like, I guess he was a hero in that we didn't really get to see it. You know, he's really not the focus of this. But sorry, go ahead, Matt. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think he, indirectly, he's responsible for the Citadel being reclaimed by Furiosa. Because if he didn't stop them from riding off, that would have been it. But but beyond that, I think it's peculiar having him like almost like he's chronicling, like in it, like here. I'll phrase it this way. Because I get hung up on movie titles a lot. So when I see Furiosa Mad Max Saga, I'm not going in expecting Mad Max as much as I am seeing a title that says Mad Max: Fury Road. Do you feel like if it was called Fury Road or Mad Max Saga, you might have back then been more like open to it, or
no?
Okay.
If there's Mad Max in the title, you're gonna want Mad Max.
Yeah.
But I appreciate Mad Max. So what you're saying, Steve, is I get it, but I think at that point of his life, like with all the shit we've seen, he comes out with his long matted hair, his beard, he's eating a fucking two-headed gecko, lizard, whatever have you, reptile of some sort. Let's get hung up with the reptile. What kind of reptile was it? Okay, I'm gonna go off the subject.
Great shot, by the way.
Yeah, it's amazing. And he talks about, he's like, I was a cop once, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think he's so fucking jaded, and it's driven him fucking mad to the point of like the 3 movies building up to this. He's like a broken person. Yeah. So that's why he has like 8 lines of dialogue. That's why he's doing these erratic things. You know, like I love we're talking about the scene in the beginning when him and Furiosa have that first fight or whatever, and him just with the gun like just like pointing like growling like a fucking animal. Like I think he truly had become Mad Max at that point. And you know, I don't know, man. I know that. So every Mad Max movie, it's always Max being alone, either helping someone or doing this or like grouping up with someone well, except for the first movie, but like, you know, he helps the people in Road Warrior just because he's for kind of selfish reasons, but he helps people in Thunderdome, whatever, for whatever reasons. And then in Fury Road, he kind of just gets interjected into this because he was a fucking slave, you know, he was a blood bag, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he eventually then he kind of comes around again to be like, oh, maybe I still can care about people. Maybe my heart isn't totally, you know, calloused over. And that's why he stops them from riding away. He's like, hey, why don't we go back to the fucking Citadel for real? But then that shot of him walking away through the crowd and her going up, I'm like, oh my God, dude, like I could fucking cry, you know? Like,
yeah, it was pristine.
But it's not locked in. The other films are much more locked into his perspective. I don't think this movie's from his perspective hardly at all. It kind of like bookends, you know, with him like like you said, a look. That's what it is. It's like it's like like I'm a mean guy with eats a two-headed gecko, and then in the end it's like I'm a nice guy now. That you know. Aside from that, though, like the moment that you said, Matt, like where it's just like we should go that way. There's no. It's that you're not in Mad Max's perspective. I don't think you're not really seeing this as much from Mad Max's. You know, you're locked into Charlize Theron. To me, it's a movie about Furiosa.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what I mean. Like, there's no rules. Like, who cares who the movie's about? If it's a fantastic movie, who cares? I was distracted by that. I think when I first saw it, I was distracted, and And I still see like this, you know, they talk about like that was one of the struggles they had with the studio, where the studio was like, you don't even see Mad Max's face for 15 minutes, and then he's just tied to the front of a car.
So good.
You know, like our hero is, you know, he's not really a hero. But again, I don't see why that I could take that and be like, and therefore it's not a good movie. It's a fantastic movie. I just think I was thrown by that. They talk a lot in the book about like whether or not it's a feminist film, and I don't know if it's intentionally, but it definitely feels like this is more about the nurturing qualities of women up against the, like, you know, the
patriarchy or whatever.
Yeah, the war and toxicity of men, and
I think it kind of didn't evolve from like a concept of Max delivering sperm to like a predator or something like that, but not realizing it was sperm until like the end of the story, because like he had like a teenager trapped in the basement, this recipient, and so Max had to like, you know, put a stop to it. I think they said that in chapter 2 or 3 of the audiobook.
What the fuck? I never heard that.
I didn't retain all of it. I don't remember.
What character runs Sperm Town? That's what I want to know.
Sperm Town. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know. I just love how much they've put the time and effort into just letting this organically grow over the years, and letting this just be like, when it's all said and done, if they've been sitting on this for 15 years and they come up with this product, it just goes to show that like you really can't, I don't know, you just can't put a price on this stuff when it comes to making it, you know. It's invaluable. I
think the thing that keeps coming up when talk about Fury Road is how much of it was real and not CG. Although there is some CG, but how much of it is real?
So much.
Yeah. And then just the unbelievable attention to detail, like every step of the way, everything you can imagine, just unbelievable amounts of detail. One of the fun parts of the book is them talking about how they got these, you know, warehouses.
Sorry, could you say the name of the book that you guys were referring to? Because I'm not sure exactly.
Blood, Sweat, and Chrome: The Making of Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, it's just a coincidence that I was listening to this. I was actually recommended from a filmmaker that you know, told me he was listening to the audiobook, and then I saw it was on Spotify. Spotify finally made it that you don't have to pay extra for audiobooks, which is nice. But
nice, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
son of a bitch, I paid $25 for that.
Sucker.
Yeah, as a filmmaker, Peter Cornwell, who I worked with, he did The Haunting in Connecticut. Oh yeah, I've heard of that dude. Yeah, he's awesome, and he was telling me about it, and I was listening to it, and then coincidentally you told me that you're going to see Mad Max, which I thought was great because I was like halfway through it. But it's just the attention to detail. One of the fun parts of the book is that they got these giant warehouses, and they just had a bunch of mechanics just in heaven having to like design these vehicles and everything and so weapons cool. And all that stuff. Yeah, and it was about, you know, it's really like this big trash art, you know, steampunk, like, you know, masterpiece, because, you know, the idea was, you know, in the apocalypse you're salvaging whatever junk and repurposing it for tools and shit like that.
Dude, so the gas pedal is the shoe measuring thing. Yeah, like that kind of shit I fucking love.
There's
I love
tons
that so
of that
much.
stuff. Like every single of those steering wheels has a bunch of different things in it. Like every little piece of everything is like repurposed trash, you know, which is so cool. And then another part, like just the attention to detail, is you know, every one of those stuntmen. This isn't something they normally do. Like every one of those stuntmen, they had like a character and a backstory for, like, that they would develop. And that they would work with they worked with an acting coach to really like develop a character, whatever, so that every moment that and we're talking like all those stuntmen or whatever.
It's amazing.
yeah, like they don't normally do that kind of thing, and so every angle, every shot, like that actor, that whatever's in that is like fully devoted to this role in this world, and you know.
Oh, so were a lot of the War Boys stunt people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main actors are actors, but
well, no, of course, but I mean, like there's so many like the guy that gets shot in the face with the arrow, and then he sprays and jumps with the two things, and like
think of all like the extras and actors, that everyone, like every one of those people, whether they were actors or just devoted stuntmen, were, you know, trained in acting and actually like had a character and a name and a backstory and everything.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just to go to the attention to detail.
Steve, did you? Because I know they kind of hook at the very beginning of this audiobook that Mad Max, that George Miller, the Madman, was confronted with the decision of like scrapping certain action sequences or not having his beginning and ending shot. Now, did you get to that part? Did they ever? If so, like, what did they ever elaborate?
At the end, yeah. So he basically, yeah, the studio was like, that's enough. You like, this project wraps like on this day, and they didn't have anything. They didn't have the climactic action sequence, which they did, but they didn't have any of the Citadel stuff.
The ending Citadel stuff.
Any of it, the beginning or the end.
Oh shit! Okay,
They had no Citadel stuff.
Oh my
God. And the
God.
studio was just like, well, the project, like, that's it, it's over. So they started cutting it. You know, George Miller's wife edited it, and yeah, they didn't have it. I think the ending. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm at like the very end of the book, but I think that he got like an angel investor to give him the money to film the Citadel stuff, because he was just like, there's no, or someone caved and financed it.
Thank
upon
God.
seeing like what they made with what they had, because
When they saw like an assembly cut, they're like, "Oh shit, okay, this is like."
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. Like this, I think it was one guy in particular that was just like, go film the Citadel stuff. I'll pay for it, because you had, yeah. I mean that's the context. That's everything. You need that, you know, beginning and end.
Well, it's funny. I thought that for some reason he wanted to include more and more backstory, and that's what prompted him to make Furiosa eventually. But the beginning and end we see in the film, that is what he intended for then, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
I think so. I'm like kind of there in the book right now, but I think it was what he intended.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I don't know. There's just something about like, there might not be a lot of backstory, but you feel like something about the execution and the performance. You know, you feel the depth of these characters. At least that's how I feel, right? So finding out that every stuntman had like this deep backstory or whatever. Like, I could feel that with the wives. I could feel that with, like, you know, all the characters that we see on screen. That like, these are thought out characters that have a philosophy that they believe in, and like they're
religious. It's like a religion that they're completely committed to. It's like they're
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you totally seeing the villains, you know, like you sympathize with them in some sense because of how they are following their religion. They're you know, they want to get to Valhalla. They're doing what they believe is right. They're like proud and happy and, you know, excited about what they're doing. But also the different wives, going back to that, like each one having a personality, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to know their backstory to kind of like understand these different personalities and the depth of each of these characters. So I prefer that. I like that. I like that I can watch a movie and go and kind of like understand enough to tell my own stories with the characters, you know, go back and understand it a little bit better, like catching some of the minor details and things like that. You know, I like that we're not sitting through tons of different dialogue and monologues and, you know, about people's backstories and this and that. Like, you feel it. You feel the different characters. You feel like the human nature of them. And So yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen Furiosa yet, but
I was just gonna say you should come back after watching that, and we could do an episode on it, because I would love to talk about which moments in Fury Road hit deeper and cut harder. Like after seeing Furiosa, there was one moment that's not connected to Furiosa in terms of backstories that really hit me in the gut, and it was brief. It was when Immortan Joe's son is telling everybody that he had a son or they had a brother, and it was a perfect brother in every way.
Yeah.
And you just see Joe's face, and I'm just like, oh man, like this is just so sad. Like his son was just so delusional.
Dude, the organic mechanic is so great too.
Yeah. The organic mechanic, yeah, he was interesting as well. I liked him.
So yeah, but that scene was like, oh, I had a baby brother. Oh, he starts shooting the fucking gun and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
George
man.
Miller was like a fucking surgeon before he became a filmmaker, which I just found out about.
Yeah, he was a doctor.
So there's I feel like the medically accurate stuff in that movie tracks because of that. Like when Furiosa's like filling up her lungs or whatever with blood and she can't whatever, and he stabs her in the side to do it, and then he draws his blood to, I don't know. I just thought things like that are cool. And like to me, like that maybe Max just being out in the wasteland for so long, also being a cop, like he's able to kind of know that kind of shit just by, you know. So like a lot of these like characters like Steve, what you're talking about, like there's no exposition dumps or anything like that. A lot of it's earned by their actions, or a lot of what we learn from their actions. So yeah, it's a cool way to do it.
It's a special film, man. It's just like I mean, like I said, I don't watch a lot of action movies. I don't watch a lot of movies like that, but man, there's something very special and masterful about it. And to me, that's part of it. It's exactly like no expedition dump of information, no like there's some sad monologues and stuff or whatever, some monologues and stuff like that. But man, we are like in this slice of very intense life, under like kind of understanding things as we go, picking up on things as we go. Another thing was like how I think a big part of post was moving, like manipulating the shots so that your eye, wherever your eye is looking, is where it needs to be for the next cut.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that was difficult I think that was a difficult thing.
It's almost like match cutting, kind of like.
Yeah, because there's so much going on. It's like we talked about before, right? Like where you're still connected with the drama every single cut. You're never lost in it. Well, I think part of how they achieved that was so that your eye doesn't have to like go all over the screen. So like, whatever you're looking at, the next point that you need to be looking at is already there. So that they had to manipulate the shots to create that.
How do we get that good? I don't know.
You got to be a doctor, I guess.
Go to medical school.
We can honestly, it sounds like we could talk about this for hours on end. I will say, as far as like my closing thoughts on this film, it's one of the only things I've waited this long for, and it was actually worth the wait. I've waited for other things in other circumstances, and sometimes they're kind of like, the hype train takes off, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, back to living. No, this thing, I'm just so relieved. I saw it, relieved I saw it in theaters. I'm actually genuinely happy I saw it after Furiosa as well. Because
you're in a very unique category there, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I won't be unique for much longer, as I'm sure newcomers to cinema will be enthralled or enticed into seeing Furiosa first, which I hope, honestly, because you're saving the best for last. But yeah, I loved it, and thanks for being there with me, Steve. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was really happy to be there. Yeah, because I remember that thing from the pandemic where you wanted to see it and then couldn't, and it became such a. And I've been wanting you to see this movie for a very long time, so I was happy to be there for it.
I've heard other things too. Plenty of other things. Strange, funny noises. And we've seen things too.
Okay, well, that was Mad Max Fury Road. Holy shit.
2 thumbs up.
Definitely.
And my toes.
My
toes.
Should we switch over to movie golf?
You're gonna die, clown! You think that's funny?
You've played the game golf before, right?
Yes.
All right. You've done movie trivia before, right?
Yes.
So we're taking the best of both worlds and putting them together. It's called movie golf. You have to guess the movie, And for every hint you get, it's the equivalent of a stroke.
Matt made these rules up, by the way. So the production company being the hint number 2, unless it's a fucking A24 film or something like that, gives no fucking hints, to be honest. Especially in movies in like the 70s, 80s, 90s. So the first line is Movie Golf take Game 2. Here we go. As Bertrand Russell once said, the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. I think we can all appreciate the relevance of that right now.
Shaun of the Dead.
Matt won.
Huzzah!
Oh, man, that was so much easier than putting. I should just try to get the ball in one shot every time.
I did not expect... I thought that was kind of a weird quote from the fucking movie.
You know what it is? I saw that recently on a rooftop cinema thing like a year ago, so it's kind of ingrained.
Fuck, okay.
And I saw a video essay on it recently.
Okay, well, fuck me. Matt got that one.
Sorry.
Right out of the gate.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's rigged.
Recount.
Yeah.
God damn it. I didn't... okay, well, here we go. Second line. Second movie. What's the matter, Danny? You never taken a shortcut before?
Oh, I know this one.
Is it The Shining?
Oh, it's... Wait. What's the matter, Danny? You never took a short... Oh, wait.
Is it
Did you say The Shining?
No, it's not The Shining. How does that... Does that count as a stroke or whatever?
Well, he doesn't get another guess until he gets another hint, but I did not guess that.
Okay, so do you want another hint or you want to take a guess?
Danny? What's the matter, Danny? You never take a shortcut. Give me the second hint.
Okay, second hint. The movie came out in 2007.
What's the matter, Danny? I want another hint, but Steve, unless you can guess it.
2007, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls.
Nope. It's two strokes.
Yeah.
Okay. The production companies are Working Title Films, Studio Canal, Universal Pictures, Big Talk Studios.
Yeah, now I'm starting to feel how you feel.
Yeah, yes you are.
What's the matter, Danny? Never take a shortcut before. Do you know the funny... Oh, wait. Hot Fuzz.
That's it!
You're confusing me. Just let me put the ball in a hole.
I was mistaking that quote with Shaun of the Dead. So at the very
Well, that's
beginning, I was
quote-
like, wait, it's Shaun of the Dead
Yeah,
again.
well, that's why I
Yeah.
put one after another.
Is this revenge because I put Pearl after X?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is.
All right.
Steve didn't get it, so what, that means he has 6?
Yeah, he's just a big loser right now, but he'll redeem himself.
Why did I play? Why did I agree to this?
Okay.
All right.
Moving on. What have we got? Mothballs, corn syrup, ammonia. What's for dinner? Kyle. Plastique. The other character. That sounds good. What is it? Kyle. Nitroglycerin base. It's a bit more stable. I learned to make it when I was a kid.
This is the end?
No, I'm not. Come on, dude. I'm not that dumb.
Okay.
I have
So that's
no
3.
idea. I don't.
All right, next one.
Next one. The year it came out was 1984.
Oh, 1984. Nitroglycerin.
Is it an alien movie?
What title?
Aliens.
No, it's not Aliens.
Alien.
It's not.
No, you can't guess again.
It came out in 1984. So,
1984. Alien 3?
Alien 3 came out like 93, Matt. No.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Okay, next hint.
all right.
The production companies, which helps fucking no one. Hemdale, Pacific Western Productions, Orion Pictures.
Orion Pictures.
Is it Alien?
You already said that.
I thought that didn't count. I thought. Oh.
No, you said Alien, then you said Alien. Oh, the first one. No, it's not Alien. Okay, so you got another one. No, it's not Alien. That came out in 79, I believe.
Give me the log line. I'm ready.
Okay. You're going to get it immediately. A human soldier is sent from 2029 to 1984 to stop an almost indestructible cyborg killing machine sent from the same year, which has been programmed to execute a young woman who...
Terminator.
There you fucking go.
Steve, you had that. Why didn't you call
Because
it?
I don't get these rules. I thought because I said a guess, I thought I can't guess again.
Well,
No,
yeah,
but
then you get another hint, and then you can guess
the next
again.
round. Then you can start guessing again as soon as you start getting another hint.
Okay.
You jackass!
Oh yeah, I get it. So that was a new hint, and I could have guessed.
Okay, next round. Dialogue. Hey, Gwen, you want some coffee? Gwen, no thanks. How about a beer? Lewis, yeah, right. Lewis examines his cup. Hey, I got a full house. Gwen, that's good, Lewis. Lewis, must be my lucky day.
Oh.
These are not memorable quotes at all. Like, these are not. This not like I let it slide the first bunch of times, but that was so banal. Like,
I think Steve's getting caught up in the revenge Zach is having against me.
Steve, this is not meant for you. This was meant for
I
a
know,
crossfire
I can tell.
towards Matt.
I'm catching strays.
He gave me Good Burger 2 as one of the fucking movies. Okay, so yeah, this is fucking
to be
revenge.
fair, I was watching a bunch of films, and that's what inspired this game. So I just told him the films I recently saw. Wait, is it Fargo?
It is not Fargo.
Is it High 8? Or what's that first PTA movie?
Oh, Hard 8 or whatever?
Hard
No,
8.
it's not Hard 8, no. The year it came out was 1991.
Must be my lucky day. 1991.
If this will help you guys, I'm being an asshole.
I don't know if that helps.
Okay, next hint. The production companies, Carloco Pictures, Studio Canal, Canal Plus, Lightstorm Entertainment, TriStar Pictures.
Well, what was the last movie again? I totally forgot.
The last movie we just did? The last movie was Terminator.
So is it Terminator 2?
That's it.
You know what's driving me crazy? You not getting the ball in the hole.
Don't push me, Bob. Now's not the time.
What scene is that in Terminator 2?
It's when they're in the psych ward and the guy walks over the T-1000 and he becomes him and he gets a coffee. He's like, must be my lucky day. And he turns around and he sees himself and the the T-1000 just stabs through his eye.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Who the fuck remembers the dialogue in that scene?
I remember every piece of dialogue from that movie. It's like my favorite movie.
You're probably
ever.
not alone. Yeah. Some people really love that movie. I mean, some people, I have friends that like know both of those movies by heart.
You don't like?
It's no Terminator Salvation, but it's all right.
Fucking.
That's rage bait.
Yeah, it is. I know it is.
That is
okay.
That is who I am.
I get nicer from here. Here we go. You thought that Bunny had been kidnapped, and you were fucking glad, man. You could use it as an excuse to make some money disappear. All you needed was some sap to pin it on. You just met me, you human paraquat. You figured, oh, here's a loser. You know, a deadbeat, someone that the square community won't give a shit about. The other character. Well, aren't ya? The other character. Well, yeah.
Shit.
Bunny? Did you say something about a bunny getting stolen?
I'll say it again. So there's two characters here. I'll say character 1 and character 2 because their names could give it away. Will give away the story. Character 1. You thought that Bunny had been kidnapped and you were fucking glad, man. You could use it as an excuse to make some money disappear. All you needed was a sap to pin it on. You just met me, you human paraquat. You figured, oh, here's a loser. You know, a deadbeat, someone the square community won't give a shit about. Character 2. Well, aren't ya? Character 1. Well, yeah.
It's not. Is it Fargo?
No, it's not Fargo. Stop guessing Fargo.
It sounds like a Seth Rogen kind of movie. It sounds like
Okay, I'm just gonna give you guys the year. Came out in 1998, so Seth Rogen was not around.
I don't know, honestly.
Okay, well, this next isn't gonna help either of you guys either. The production companies. Polygram Filmed Entertainment. Working title films. Okay, moving on to the log line. You'll get it probably here. I can't say the character's name, but character 1, I'll say character 1 is the guy that said the dialogue. Character 1 mistaken for a millionaire of the same name, seeks restitution for his ruined rug and enlists his bowling buddies to help get it out. There you fucking go.
I think that was a tie.
Was it a tie?
I mean, you could have said the dude.
That would have fucking given it away.
Yeah, but I would have liked it.
Okay, moving on. This character's name is Carl. Would it kill you to say something? No. That's the first thing you said in the last 4 hours. That's a fountain of conversation, man. That's a geyser. I mean, whoa, daddy, stand back, man. Shit, I'm just sitting here driving.
Is it Fargo? Fargo.
It's Fargo.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
I mean, I just couldn't get the ball in the hole. I wanted to, but I just couldn't do it.
I was being polite. I wanted to hear the rest of it. I knew what it was. And here you come, swooping in. God damn it.
Yes, it is Fargo. I'm so glad Steve got that, because Matt kept saying Fargo, and it wasn't Fargo, and I knew Fargo was coming up, and he didn't get it.
And I was going to take pride in that. Steve, you're not allowed on the show.
That's hilarious.
Whoa, daddy.
We're halfway through, boys. We're getting there. Next movie. Son, you got a panty on your head.
It sounds like Jack Nicholson.
It's more of a southern drawl. Son, you got a panty on your head.
A panty?
A panty. Son, you got a panty on your head.
Is it Mud?
It's not Mud. Okay. Came out in 1987.
Dazed and Confused?
Nope.
No, I don't have a guess.
20th Century Studios, Circle Films, Inc. That doesn't help anyone. I'll just move on to the next one for time. Logline. When a childless couple, an ex-con and an ex-cop, decide to help themselves to one of another's family quintuplets.
Raising Arizona.
That's what it is.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it.
Nice. Never would have thought of that one.
I love that movie.
Good movie.
Okay, moving on. Sweet Home Alabama plays in the background. Garland. Define irony. A bunch of idiots dancing on a plane to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash.
What year?
1997.
Can I get the quote again? Just the quote. I know the song.
I'll say his full name. Garland Green. Define irony. Bunch of idiots dancing on a plane to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash. I'll give you a big hint. There is now a theme from this one, for the last one to this one.
What was the last film?
Raising Arizona.
Oh, so it's a fucking Coen Brothers movie.
Doesn't mean that it's a Coen Brothers movie.
Well, I feel like you have to say that.
Is it Leaving Las Vegas?
No, but that was a good guess. Okay, gotta move on. A newly paroled ex-con and a former U.S. Ranger, Cameron Poe, finds himself trapped in a prisoner-transported plane when the passenger seizes control.
Con Air!
Steve got it.
Damn it!
Yeah! There you go. Good shot.
Coming back strong.
All right, next movie. Character's name is Robert. I'll tell you a secret. The last act makes a film. Wow them in the end, and you got a hit. You can have flaws, problems.
Adaptation.
Yeah, Matt got it.
Yay!
Okay, moving on. This character's name is Doug, and sometimes my dreams occur exactly as I dreamt them. Mike says, "What's that from?" Doug. Dune.
And the characters' names are Mike and
Doug.
Dune.
What year?
2000.
Is it Dune?
It's not Dune. It's 2023.
I probably have not seen this.
I know you have for a fact.
Oh.
XYZ Films, Romulus Media, Zapruder Films.
Give me the logline.
The story of the rise and catastrophic demise of the world's first smartphone.
Oh, BlackBerry.
BlackBerry.
Come on, good. Now we just worry about putting, huh?
Oh, yeah, plenty.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
Fucking nerds.
You've seen it. I know you've seen it. Moving on. Richie, would you do me a favor and eat my pussy for me, please?
Oh, Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, there it is.
Good.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
Good on you.
It's actually a memorable quote.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that episode of Louie where he's like forced in the pickup truck to like go down on that lady he had dinner with.
Forcing the pickup truck to go down on that lady.
It's like a take on Cars, right, man?
Huh?
You fucked that
That's
sentence
fine.
up
No, it's
so
fine.
bad.
It's fine. Let's just move on.
All right, let's move on.
You said he forced a pickup truck to go down on that girl.
No, he was forced in a pickup truck to go down on this woman he had dinner with.
That's right. Oh, okay.
That sounds. I like it the other way around, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you
you
he
sick
forced the
fuck.
pickup truck to go down on a woman.
2 more. We're almost there. You guys are never gonna get this one. I hope maybe Steve will. Maybe. It's really okay. Once upon a time, there was a crooked tree and a straight tree, and they grew next to each other. And every day the straight tree would look at the crooked tree, and he would say, "You're crooked. You've always been crooked, and you'll continue to be crooked. But look at me, said the straight tree. He said, "I'm tall and I'm straight." And then one day, the lumberjacks came into the forest and looked around, and the manager in charge said, "Cut all the straight trees." And that crooked tree is still there to this day, growing strong and growing strange.
Great quote. I don't know it.
Yeah.
Movie came out in 2006.
2006.
I doubt you guys are gonna get this one.
2006.
I'll even give you the guy who fucking said it because this is so obscure. Tom Waits.
Yeah. Tom Waits.
Tom
So
Waits.
it's Down by Law.
No.
Oh, no, it's not this, but is it that Parnassus movie?
No.
Okay.
Okay, here's the... Did I say the production company? No Matter Pictures. That doesn't matter because you're not going to get it. The film is set in a strange afterlife way station that has been reserved for people who have committed suicide.
Wrist Cutters, a love story.
That's what it is.
I think you've had enough.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Never heard of it.
I forgot about that movie.
That's a good one?
Yeah.
Last one, guys. Here we go. This is a fucking mouthful, too. Jesus Christ. Why do I pick such long quotes? As soon as he hears the word jail, he fucking freaks. Talking about, "I'm not getting ripped off again by one of you punks." And he just fucking steps on the gas. And that was it. He just takes off. Then I hear the word cops. I lose it. And I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm not going back to jail, man. I'm not going back to jail. So I happen to get one of the doors open before he locks the door. And the guy's crazy. He's fucking driving, speeding down the road, 30, 40 miles per hour.
Is it
and
Good Time?
It's Good Time. Steve got it.
I haven't seen Good Time.
You haven't seen that movie?
Jackass! This guy sucks.
No.
Oh, fuck, dude. Come on.
I've said that before.
I don't remember. Go see that fucking movie.
All right. Well, that was fun.
That was it.
Who got more? Who got more answers?
Steve, you won, I think.
Really?
Did he?
That's a big comeback story. All right, I should get to work though. My worker is here. My coworker.
Steve, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks guys.
So I got a score of 62, and Steve got a score of 61. That's son of a bitch.
Way. That's amazing. He beat you by 1 point.
1 point.
Holy shit.
Who the hell does he think he is?
This game is pretty great, dude, to be honest.
It is fun, right?
Together we've seen things not of this world and have proven ourselves capable of defeating them.
That's going to do it for today. We've enjoyed another episode of We've Seen Things with our first guest, co-runner of the Breakneck Film Race, Steve Craig. Super happy to have him on board. And also was really happy to watch Mad Max Fury Road with him in theater. Very happy I finally saw that movie. I feel like it sort of unlocked something in my head where all the things I keep putting off, I'm like, I could just do them. Let's just fucking do them and get them over with.
See, Matt, you can do them. You don't have to hold yourself at this fucking crazy, unattainable standard.
But you have to understand, that standard allowed me to have an enhanced experience of Fury Road because I waited 10 years for Furiosa.
I get that. Yeah, that's true.
Which is a pure coincidence.
But it's very rare where something lives up to that expectation. And this was probably one of the only things that will ever do that, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I lucked out in that regard,
Yeah.
as painful as it was. We should definitely do a Furiosa episode because I have a whole list of things that emotionally hit me harder because I saw Furiosa first. I will say one thing. I saw Zemeckis' trailer for the movie Here. It dropped yesterday.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that. There's some really good movies coming out, dude.
I'm sold.
Oh, my God. I didn't know he was making a new movie. That's amazing. So that, Longlegs I'm really excited for, and Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. I'm like fucking frothing at the mouth for, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll check out. Look up Here.
Here.
That's the name of his
Oh
new
my
movie.
God, I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, this is
it's
sick.
gonna be fun.
All right, movies are good again. Thank God.
Yeah. Make movies good again. Sweet. Okay. Well, thank you all for watching, and have a good one. Enjoy your life. Go watch a movie or two.